Okay. What do you think the clouds are made of? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out what's in the clouds. Or maybe they're just clouds that are like full of excitement and all of that stuff. Okay. Back on the Scarlet Margaret, Spud and Skillet had been busy in the galley, making a supper of crispy fried starfish, grilled squid tentacles and wedges of fresh watermelon. Once Bulkhead had stashed the fresh thundercloud in the hold, Lil and the rest of the crew gathered around the makeshift table on the main deck while Slingshot served out great spoonfuls onto their tin plates. Gilbert scuttled down to the table from Echo's shoulder and Slingshot tossed him a crispy tentacle. Told Horace about the treasure you dug up this morning, asked Flora. You said you didn't find anything. Horace turned to Echo, his eyes sparkling. What was it? The rest of the crew chuckled and Echo felt her face turn hot as she remembered the embarrassment of her discovery. Nothing, she mumbled. Just one of those things, said Bulkhead, nudging her kindly. Tuck in, girl. But Echo suddenly didn't feel like eating. She pushed her plate towards him. You can have mine. Oh, don't be melodramatic, said Lil. Horace, Echo found a chest, but it was empty. It happens all the time. We'll find another one, don't you worry. I'm really not hungry, Echo said. It's nothing to do with the treasure chest. Nonsense. Lil smeared her starfish with a spoonful of sea tomato relish and took a greedy bite. Sky pirates need to keep their strength up. Who knows what might be around the corner. How did you find the cloud catching, Horace? It was eventful. We did all right in the end, though, didn't we? Said Bulkhead, looking at Echo. Echo flushed even redder as she remembered how she'd lost control of the cloud catcher. And the cloud had slipped out of the net. Being a sky pirate was harder than she thought. She took a quick glance at Lil, but her mother was absorbed in her meal and hadn't noticed Echo's red face. Echo sighed and nibbled at the edge of a watermelon. Come on, Echo, dig in, said Slingshot through a mouthful of squid. Yeah, said Flora, are you a pirate or a princess? A good-natured laugh rumbled around the table as they all grinned at her. Even Horace had a big grin on his face. Echo lowered her gaze and stared sullenly at her plate, blinking away the tears, then threatened to spill down her cheek. More princess than pirate. She might have grown up in a castle, but she was one of them, a black sky wolf, wasn't she? A flicker of fear ran through her. Maybe they were only humouring her because she was Lil's daughter. She scrubbed her eyes out with her sleeve and after a few moments dared to look around the group. Nobody had noticed that she was upset. Horace was eagerly devouring his bowl of starfish. Bulkhead and Betty were laughing over a shared joke. Lil was leaning across the table to pour more grog into the grown-ups' tankards, her gold earrings glinting through her dark curls. Even Gilbert was too busy nibbling on a melon to notice how miserable Echo was. A wave of loneliness washed over her. Maybe none of them cared. Crazy, of course they care. Flora caught her eye and grinned at her, and a flare of irritation lit in Echo's belly. She was no princess, she was a pirate, and she would prove it to them all just as soon as she'd worked out how. Chapter 5. I think we'll make a start on chapter 5. What do you think? Oh, you want to stop with chapter 4? Are you sure? I'm going to do chapter 5. The next morning, Echo woke to a chorus of birds and the chirp of toads. She stretched, pushed off the covers and climbed out of her bunk, scooping up a sleepy Gilbert and curling him around her neck. It was early, 5 bells, according to the ship's clock, and the airship was still very much full of sleep. The boards beneath her feet reverberated with soft snores from every direction. As she got out of bed, Horace stirred in the hammock they had made up for him in Echo's cabin. "Where are you going?" he whispered. "Up to see the sunrise. I do it every morning. Want to come?" As they crept above decks, Echo peeped into her mother's quarters. Captain Lil lay on her bunk under skull and crossbones blankets, one arm flung above her head and the other catching her cutlass. Do you know what a cutlass is? A cutlass is a pirate's sword. So she's sleeping with an arm over her head and other arm holding onto her sword. That's how pirate captains must sleep. Her mane of dark curls had been tamed into a thick plait that hung over the side of the bunk. She twitched, but she did not wake up. Echo smiled and crept up the stairs, followed by Horace. She eased open the bolts to the hatchway post, pushed aside the trap door, and shivered in delight at the rush of cool morning air. Up on deck, the birdsong was even louder. Echo crossed the deck, careful not to slip on the fine mist of dew that glazed the boards underfoot. The sky was pale lilac, just woken, and the palm trees rustled softly to themselves. Along the bay where they were moored, Echo could see that Sleepy Palms was still in darkness. Only the fisher folk rose earlier than Echo, their airships tiny dots on the horizons. It seemed like everyone else in the world was asleep. "I love this time of morning," she whispered. "It feels like it's all ours." "It's amazing," said Horace. Gilbert, who by now was clinging to her shoulder with one sleepy eye open, blinked, yawned, and shut it again. Echo grinned. The day felt brimful of possibilities, wide open and untouched. She unrolled the ship's rope ladder and sent it unfurling down the hull until the end landed on the sand below with a soft thud. "Wait, what's this?" asked Horace. Echo squinted as she peered in the direction he was pointing. Just above the palms, a tiny black dot was heading towards them. Echo shaded her eyes with her hand. From this distance, it looked like a postal pigeon. "But who would be sending us a message out here?" she said. Horace's eyes sparkled. "Perhaps it's an update from the professor on the stink beetles." "As long as it's just a message and not an actual stink beetle," said Echo, wrinkling her nose. She ran to the gunwale and leaned out, ready to catch the bird. But as it got closer, she realized it was not a postal pigeon at all. It was a mechanical bird, all right, but much larger than a pigeon, with a long tail and a beak that was curved like a sickle. Not a bicycle, a sickle. A sickle was used for cutting down grass and hay and other things. A sickle. You hold it in your hand, and then it's got a big curvy blade with a point on it, and they would use that to cut things. So the beak was shaped like that. As the bird got closer, its metallic scales gleamed scarlet in the early morning sun. "I think it's a parrot." "Parrot, not pirate, a parrot," said Echo. "I do believe you're right," said Horace, squinting. "But a postal parrot, how peculiar." Echo staggered backwards as the bird hovered over the Scarlet Margaret's navigation point, the metallic transmitter that allowed them to receive postal pigeons wherever they were. After a moment, its mechanical eyes whirred into focus as it zoomed in first on Horace and then on Echo. There was a small beep and the bird swooped down towards Echo. "Pieces of 8, squawked the bird, and it landed on Echo's outstretched arm. She goggled at Horace. It talked. The mechanical bird cocked its head and its eyes whirred again. "Indigo Lil!" it squawked. Echo stared in astonishment. She had thought postal pigeons a marvel when she had first seen one at the Mech Market in Port Toboulion. the way you could dial in coordinates, write out your message on a scroll of paper, put it in the pigeon's claw, and send the little mechanical bird flying off to your chosen destination. But a talking parrot, that was a totally different machine. Message for Indigo Lil, the bird squawked. But I'm not. You are summoned to a meeting of the Seven Skies Alliance, the bird carried on, ignoring Echo. She's trying to say that she's not Indigo Lil, and the mechanical parrot keeps thinking that she is Indigo Lil, the captain. You are summoned. The meeting is at the Ice Fortress on Shark's Fin Peak, midnight tonight. Transport will be provided from one off point at Filigree Ridge. Come alone, no weapons, no exceptions, but this message will self-destruct in 5 seconds. Please stand clear. The bird gave one last caw and swooped into the air before exploding in a cloud of gunpowder and cogs. Gilbert jerked awake, his scales paling in surprise. Horace ducked as a spring whizzed past his ear. But I'm not Indigo Lil, said Echo in exacerbation. And what is the Seven Skies Alliance? We better wake your mother and give her the message, said Horace. Can you remember what it said? I think so. They raced back down the hatchway, Echo's mind spinning with this strange new information. Postal pirates, ice fortresses, and the Seven Skies Alliance. What could it all mean? Ha-ha! End of section! That was a good one, wasn't it? Maybe we'll hear more about the clouds in the future. But that was exciting. So I wonder what's going to happen next time. They're going to have to go to the Seven Skies Alliance. Seven Skies Alliance? Yeah, the Seven Skies Alliance meeting. And I wonder why the parrot thought that she was the Captain Lil. They must look very similar. Okay, Baba, time for sleeping. I love you. Can you catch the kiss? One for me. I got it. Nom, 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 nom. Good night, Baba. Love you.